Hello, dear astrology lovers, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexandra, and I'm a professional ESAR certified astrologer. In today's video, we're covering the astrological transits for August 2026 and what a month it's going to be. We're entering the eclipse season, and on top of that, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun are all changing signs. Also, Mercury has just finished its retrograde journey through Cancer, and we're all eager to finally accelerate and move forward again. If July was marked by delays, misunderstandings, a melancholic mood with Mercury retrograde in Cancer, insecurity as well, or questioning different areas of your life, August is going to be quite the opposite. We're all going to feel a noticeable shift in energy, not only because Mercury is now moving direct, but also because of all the other planetary shifts taking place throughout the month. And now let's see what you can expect on a personal level. Hello, dear Scorpio Rising. This is your horoscope for August 2026. This month is bringing you a significant shift in energy, not only because of the general planetary changes, but also because Mars, your ruler, is entering Cancer. But let's start from the very beginning of the month. On August 6th, Venus, the ruler of your 12th and 7th houses, is entering Libra in your 12th house. And just a few days later, on the 9th, Mercury will enter Leo in your 10th house and at the same time form a conjunction with Jupiter. When these planetary changes happen, Venus in Libra, Mercury in Leo, and Uranus in Gemini will form a powerful lotus configuration. It will include your 12th, 10th, and 8th houses, with the emphasis on the 10th, because you will have a powerful stellium there and the solar eclipse in mid-August. And if you're not familiar with the lotus configuration, it's a very harmonious and positive configuration because it consists of two sextiles and a trine. And the stellium in Leo, I just mentioned, will consist of Mercury, Jupiter, and the Sun. And on the 12th, we'll have the Moon there as well, which is why we'll have the solar eclipse because the South Node is near. All of these planets are benefics, and together with the Lotus configuration I just mentioned, mid-August could bring positive changes and opportunities in your career, status, and goals. This is so powerful. And not only mid-August, but also the weeks and months following the solar eclipse that will happen, as I said, in the sign of Leo in your 10th house. The effects of an eclipse could be felt for about 6 months after it. So this August could mark the beginning of something bigger and better, especially in your career and personal development. It could also refer to your financial situation because Jupiter rules your second house, which is the house of money, and it will be in conjunction with Mercury, the ruler of your eighth house. And they will both be in such a prominent position in the 10th house, which is like an antenna. So it accentuates every planet position there. If you want to learn more about Jupiter's powerful transit through Leo in your 10th house, make sure to watch my video dedicated to that specific topic. There are separate videos for each rising sign, so you'll find it easily. And now, back to this topic. Financial matters could be very dominant in mid-August, and there could be some positive surprises because Uranus, which is transiting your eighth house, is forming a sextile with Jupiter and Mercury in your 10th house. As I said, Jupiter and Mercury are the rulers of your second and eighth houses, which are the houses of money. So the eighth house specifically represents other people's money, investments, and loans. This means that someone could make a significant payment. You might get a raise at work or an opportunity for an additional income. The Lotus configuration I just mentioned will include two money significators, Venus and Jupiter, and Uranus, which represents the universe and surprises. So there could be a wonderful financial surprise. If you are planning to ask for a raise, mid-August could be a good time for that. And from the 9th until the 15th, let's say approximately, you could bring that topic up, especially if you have similar beneficial aspects in your birth chart. And when it comes to Venus, it's also the ruler of your seventh house, which is the house of marriage, collaborations, and partnerships. It will be transiting Libra, which is the significator of all these things as well. So not only will it be part of the Lotus configuration with Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus, but it will also form a grand air trine with Pluto and Uranus. That's another harmonious configuration. In mid August and after the solar eclipse, which is also a new moon, new people could enter your life. You could establish new connections and develop new collaborations. And if we look at the financial side of these aspects, because that's also active in your horoscope, it could mean new sources of income. And since Venus represents love and rules your seventh house in harmonious aspects with Jupiter, the ruler of your fifth house, and Uranus, some of you could fall in love completely unexpectedly in the first half of August and in the mid August. This could also mean falling in love through social media or an app because Uranus is involved, especially if you have a harmonious aspect between Venus and Uranus in your birth chart. I'm always mentioning your birth chart potential because that's your universe. And whenever aspects, transits and current aspects resemble your birth chart atmosphere, then it's the moment when your natal potential can be activated. If you have similar aspects between Venus and Uranus in your birth chart, then you're more prone to situations that are represented by that aspect, like falling in love with a friend, falling in love on social media. So, whenever there is a repeated contact in the sky, there could be an opportunity to fall in love at first sight or suddenly meet someone new and immediately like them. It can be a friend of a friend or your friend or anything Uranian. So yeah, it increases a repeated atmosphere in the sky, increases the possibility of something happening to you. And on the 11th, one day before the eclipse, Mars, your ruler, is entering Cancer, and that's when the situation starts getting a little bit complicated. The moment Mars enters Cancer, it will automatically form a T square with Venus, your seventh house ruler, and Neptune, your fifth house ruler. If I had to use one word to describe this, unfortunately, it would be deception. So be careful when it comes to relationships in August, especially, again, if you have similar afflictions in your birth chart. In your case, these planets rule your first, seventh, and fifth houses, which are the houses of love and relationships. With Neptune involved and Venus transiting your 12th house, there could be some secrets. So, some could start a secret relationship, and for some, this could mean not seeing the other person for who they truly are. So, new opportunities for falling in love could definitely appear with the positive aspects between Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus, but I wouldn't recommend rushing into a relationship. In August, it's better to delay things a little bit, stay in the friend zone, and just observe. If that's really your person, then you can start the relationship later when the afflictions are gone. And if you are already in a relationship and have similar afflictions involving Neptune in your birth chart, so August could bring some disappointments, but that's only if you were ignoring the red flags and pushing things under the rug. This could be a reality check for you, especially in the second half of the month, because Venus and Mars will be squared by Saturn. With Mars, your ruler, transiting Cancer, the way you feel about yourself could change, and it can also impact your relationships. Mars is in its fall in Cancer, so you might not really feel at your best during this transit, which will last until the end of September. You might become more emotional and reactive to everything that's happening around you. And in some cases, this could also mean being a little bit passive aggressive, especially in love related conflicts because of the T square between Mars, Venus, Neptune, and later Saturn. Mars is also the ruler of your sixth house, which is the house of work. So try to keep a low profile if that's possible and avoid conflicts with colleagues at work, especially in the second half of the month. There could be some misunderstandings or weird situations that could put you in a bit challenging position. This is the time when you should be more introverted and focus on your own things in silence. Also, since Mars, your ruler, will be transiting your ninth house, which is the house of travel to foreign countries, take care of your wallet, bags, and belongings because Venus represents those as well. And with afflictions from Neptune and Mars in its fall, something could disappear and again put you in an unpleasant situation. The aspects in August are such that I have to issue a lot of warnings, as you can see, but hopefully none of these things will happen. I'm just trying to cover as many potential situations as possible so that everyone can get some value and something useful from these videos. Of course, I have to underline that um, um, everything is the events that happen to you, sorry, are represented in your birth chart. So if you have natal potential for these events and these things, then stay alert. If you don't, that these are simply not your lessons to learn. Everything I've mentioned is not for everyone. It's specifically for those who have similar aspects in their birth chart. And as I said, whenever we have repeated natal aspects in transits, it's our natal atmosphere and something from our birth chart potential can become reality, both good and bad. Overall, as you can see, there's a lot of contrast in the aspects and configurations in August. The positive and negative ones are somehow intertwined, and the point of astrology is to help us navigate through them in the most beneficial way for us. And to conclude this part that's covering the first part of the month, the first half of the month, mid-August, could really bring amazing opportunities, especially in relationships and collaborations. But instead of jumping into new experiences too quickly, give yourself some time and just observe. You can make big moves later after your thorough assessment. And talking about mid August, there's another important thing to cover. On August 12th, we'll have a powerful solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. And it will be on the south node in your 10th house. If you have any planets around this degree of Leo, you could experience significant changes over the next 6 months, especially when it comes to your career, status, and goals. The conjunction is absolutely the strongest aspect. And then if you have any planets around 20 degrees of other fire signs, as well as the air and fixed signs, this eclipse can shake them up and awaken their natal potential. So check which houses they rule and what kind of story they have to offer. And speaking of your 10th house, the following 6 months could bring significant events and new beginnings in that area of your life. Since the eclipse is happening on the south node, it could push you to make space for new experiences in the coming months. For some, it could mean a powerful new beginning at a new company or getting a higher position at the existing company, right? Or like an opportunity to be more visible, especially with transiting Jupiter in this house. The south node could definitely close one chapter in this area of your life because it's time for something better and bigger to begin. Not everything is meant to stay in our lives forever. After having served its purpose, some things naturally leave or get abandoned because we have outgrown them. And in your case, it could be your old goals and ambitions, your existing workplace, or the company you work for, and similar things. With Jupiter transiting the 10th house and this powerful new moon, which is also a solar eclipse, the upcoming months are giving you an amazing opportunity to let go of something that's holding you back so that new doors can open and lead you to success. Also, around the time of the eclipse, we'll have an opposition between Mercury in Leo in the 10th house and Pluto in Aquarius in the 4th. If you have a similar aspect in your birth chart, you could get easily triggered and make a lot of drama, especially at work or at home. So pay attention to the days immediately before and after the eclipse because they're usually a bit intense energetically. So try to stay calm and avoid conflicts that could put you into a state of affect because you could regret it later. It's usually like that. So just keep that somewhere in the back of your mind. Mercury is also the ruler of your 8th house, which is in Gemini. So also be a bit more careful in traffic and don't rush. It doesn't mean that something bad will happen, but it's good to be careful and stay safe. And on the 23rd, the sun will enter Virgo in your 11th house. And then on the 25th, Mercury will follow. Both of these planets will be squared by Uranus in Gemini in your 8th house. So the end of the month could be a little stressful, especially when it comes to your communication with your friends. The affliction will be active until the end of the month, and on the 28th, we'll have a lunar eclipse on the North Node at 4 degrees of Pisces in your 5th house. If you have any planets around 4 degrees of Pisces and in the other mutable signs, as well as the Earth and water signs, this eclipse could trigger significant changes. And speaking about the lunar eclipse, I have to say that it's a bit specific because Mercury and the Sun will form a T square with Uranus and the Moon. Of course, there will be an opposition between the Sun and the Moon. That's why it's a lunar eclipse, but it will be afflicted by Uranus. And this T square will include your 11th, 8th, and 5th house. This could shake up your love life again because the eclipse is falling in your 5th house. Maybe it's time to change something about the way you approach your love life. So you can think about it like, are you compromising too much or repeating the same mistakes? With Uranus squaring the eclipse, the main theme is change. So certain things can change in your love life. It can also be in sports, hobbies, creativities. It can be about your kids even. And these changes can be initiated by you or by circumstances. When it comes to your love life, for some, this can mean breaking up. Of course, not for everyone, but those who have been struggling for quite some time, or those people whose breakup is overdue, and there are such cases, they could break up even because it's time to move on to the next level. Uranus is never destroying things just for the sake of destroying them. It represents higher consciousness. It's just there to set us free from burdens and things that no longer serve us. And it could also refer to your friend circle because Mercury and the Sun will be in the 11th house and at the same time squared by Uranus. Some friendships and connections could come to an end. Again, the good ones, the stable ones, the honest ones will not even feel this. It's only about the friendships that are not honest, that are unstable, that are simply occupying space for something way better. And of course, the strongest impact will be felt by those who have similar aspects in the birth chart. I'm repeating this for the millionth time. And it's good to know that despite the tension in the sky, the positive side to it is the fact that the eclipse is happening on the North Node, which is beneficial and works like Jupiter. It's the significator of growth and moving forward. In your case, it could be telling you that it's time to change your mindset about your love life and break your connection with old patterns. As I said, the 5th house is also the house of hobbies, sports, and kids. So some changes and redirections are possible in those areas of your life as well. And again, in the last week of August and during the days surrounding the eclipse, try to keep calm, stay grounded, and avoid conflicts. If you have difficult aspects between Mercury, the Sun, and Uranus in your birth chart, do all you can to avoid conflicts and anything you know could trigger you. You could be hypersensitive during those days and more prone to stress. Since the sun rules your 10th house, also be careful in your relationship with your boss and authority figures. August is not the best month for confrontation and important conversations. And in the end, I want to clarify the impact of eclipses a bit further because some of you might get scared by the afflictions from Uranus. For events to be activated, the eclipse has to fall on a planet or house cusp in your birth chart or simply form a strong aspect with a planet in it. If the eclipse is activating something in your horoscope and on top of that you have similar aspects in your birth chart, then it could bring some important events. So not every eclipse will impact everyone. And I'm saying this because I don't want you to get scared by the affliction from Uranus. Maybe it doesn't even mean anything in your case. Overall, stay grounded in the last week of August and remember that even if change happens, it's nothing but an opportunity for growth and expansion, even if it doesn't seem like that in the beginning. To sum everything up, August is a super dynamic month, so try to make the most of the positive aspects and stay calm during the intense ones. I hope you found this video useful and inspiring. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. You will help it grow that way, and you will also stay up to date with my monthly horoscopes and other astrology videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.